I mean, this is so dramatic. My name is Zimasa Qolohle Mabuse.
Age?
I am 31 years old.
Country of origin?
I am born in South Africa.
Cool. So my question is, what is one thing you need to detach from in order to open up space to receive?
I think what I need to detach from to open up space to receive is probably my definition of success, as well as my parents' expectation of me, as well as the need to constantly feel like I've got it all together and that I know what I'm doing.
How do you think your parents have formed your understanding of success?
Well, they grew up under very difficult circumstances. They grew up in the very well-known and documented apartheid era, which forced them to sort of just toughen up very quickly, whether they were ready to or not. And it forced them to make a success of themselves, most notably financially. And with that came a lot of expectations that were then passed down to me, because they did not want us as their children to suffer the same poverty that they went through. So they did not want the same of us. And at the time, their definition of poverty and success was shaped by their surroundings, which were very, very harsh and quite horrible surroundings and upbringing. And that's then been brought on to me and my sibling. And I think that with all those harsh lessons that they went through, they gave us harsh lessons as a result, and we still carry those harsh lessons, and we still carry that burden, and we still carry that sense of expectation.
So thinking about your parents' upbringing and yours, it was a bit different.
Yes.
So how do you think you define success now?
I don't think I know yet. I still think it's shaped by my parents' definition, which is get married, have a family unit, have children, just enough so that you can be financially stable and financially well off or financially astute, purchase a host of properties, drive great cars, have great titles, work in blue chip companies or run successful companies. And I still think that I have yet to release myself of the shackle that is that definition of success. So I don't actually think I know what my definition of success is, but as I'm growing older, I think it's just to be content, to live a life of adventure, to live a life of making the best of each day and every minute of each day and experiencing new things and being a good person and being good to people around you. And yeah, money's nice. It gives you nice things too, but it definitely isn't everything. I think what life is all about and what success is all about is just waking up every day, trying again, making the best of every single minute of the day, and going to bed knowing that today you were a good person and you did your best.
Hearing you say that, I sort of wonder, how have you come to the realization that's the thing you need to detach from in order for you to, live this bountiful life that you're talking about? So what's that process? How did you get to...
Through harsh events in my life, which have taken place in the last 3 years, which have really quickly and in a short space of time forced me to break free of those expectations of myself and of those expectations that I was given, and to actually utilize every second of the day. And I think realizing how short life really is, and what made me realize how short life really is was my father falling ill at a relatively young age, and just the sanctity of life and just realizing how fragile life is. It just made me realize that at the end of it all, it doesn't matter if I lived in a big house as long as I was happy in that house. And it doesn't matter if I drove a German car, and none of that actually even matters. What matters is how I spent my life and if I've got wonderful memories that I can look back on.
What excites you about defining success in your own experience, and what scares you about discovering this new definition of success?
The same thing that excites me and scares me about my definition of success is the same thing. I think it's a quiet life. I find myself growing up and actually really yearning and longing for just a quiet life of just retreating to a farm. Albeit a big house on a farm, I still love big houses, but on a farm and just leading a quiet life with my husband and maybe perhaps a future child. But I think it also scares me to lead a quiet life because I think we have been taught that success has to be loud. And it scares me that if I go and retreat, to live a quiet life, I will be successful to myself. But if I go and retreat and lead a quiet life, I will not be successful or to be seen to be successful by others because success has to be loud. We have been tuned to make sure that our success is loud and our success is known. And that retreat scares me and excites me.
How do you think work has, enabled this definition of success?
Oh, it has further extended my parents' definition of success, but also been very complex for me. So I'm in the legal industry. I studied a law degree and I furthered and got a master's degree. However, I went along the path less traveled from some of my legal colleagues who further became admitted attorneys of the High Court of South Africa and then went into law firms and just followed a traditional trajectory of becoming and what do they call it again? I think they call it first you are an associate or candidate attorney, then associate, then senior associate, then a partner, then an equity partner. My trajectory has obviously been different because I have not followed the traditional way of growing within a legal career. And as a result, I've always had to peacock my trajectory in corporate because it is less traditional. I have had to ensure that it is also seen as equally successful as a traditional trajectory, and it's therefore reinforced that I had to be loud about all my moves and all my career and my career path as a whole is just as successful as a traditional path. So it's actually my industry has only further reinforced my parents' definition of success, which is let it be known, be successful, let everyone know you for excellence, let everybody just know you, have your name be high up there. And I'm now 31 and going on 32, and I'm like, but that's such a horrible burden to bear.